I would like to welcome ACS members to the American College of Surgeons Engaging the Resident Member Series. I'm Joyce Peng, a PGY3 and Learning Environment Education Fellow at the University of New Mexico. My background is that I am a member of the Education Committee of RAS and a member of the ACS New Mexico chapter. The Resident and Associate Society has developed this interview series to spotlight engagement activities from ACS chapters. The goal of the interview is to help promote activities that chapters have developed and share them between chapters of all sizes and geographic locations. Let's begin the interview. Joining me today is Dr. Virginia Parker. Let's start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, including your work history and current role.
Sure. So I'm a PGY5 at St. Mary's Hospital in Waterbury, Connecticut. I will be heading down south to Duke next year for trauma and critical care, which I'm very excited about. I've also had the pleasure to serve as the president of the resident committee of CTACS since I was PGY 2 and 3. So I've had it for a couple of years, and it's been an awesome pleasure to work with them.
So just to start off with, what size is your chapter and how many resident members do you currently have as members?
In general, we have 230 fellows as members, and we have about 182 resident members and about 50 medical students who are interested in surgery, ranging from Quinnipiac, University, Yale, and UConn, respectively.
And then what does your chapter do for ABSITE preparation for your resident members?
For 5 years, we have hosted an ABSITE review. Initially, we started very small, held at my hospital here at St. Mary's. We had about 20 people. And this last year in January, we actually went virtual. And we had over 450 residents actually sign up and attend our ABSITE review. It was over 2 days. It was an awesome experience. And we had lots of great feedback. We never expected that many people to come. So it was great.
Were those who attended, were they kind of residents from all over the Northeast, or were they just within the Connecticut chapter?
Sure. So they were actually all over the world. We had over 75 programs representatives from the United States, Canada, Europe, Puerto Rico. So we never expected that many people to show up. We initially thought maybe 50 from the New England area, but social media is awesome and we got it out there. And we actually had people from your program too. So very cool.
That's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
How do you elicit faculty support and teaching for these programs?
Sure. So we try to recruit from all of the 6 programs we have in Connecticut. So we had attendings from Yale, attendings from UConn, attendings from St. Mary's, Stanbury, and Stanford, and Waterbury. They obviously speak on their own topic, and they love doing it because they love to teach.
Outside of the ABSITE review that you do, what other resources do you make available for trainees?
We do a New England board prep. So we do practice board scenarios for rising 3, 4, and 5s. Obviously, last year it was canceled because of COVID. This year is planning to still go on in May, which is an awesome, experience for especially myself, who's about to take my boards, to just practice before things get serious.
Specifically, when do you do your ABSITE prep?
We actually initially had always held it in December, but we had a lot of feedback that said that's almost a little bit too early and holidays and everything. So we held it this year in January, the second weekend, and it was so much better because there is something about after the holidays, you get really serious about the ABSITE. So we start preparing months before to recruit the attendings. And obviously this year was much different because we had to teach them all how to use WebEx. There's little glitches in there. Some of the older attendings, it had some glitches, but in general, they all did excellent. And so yeah, we prepare lots of months in advance.
Are there any specific resources do you feel like can also be expanded to board prep that you've done with ABSITE?
Yeah, so we have a lot of exciting and cool things happening at CTACS for the resident committee, at least. We're trying to do even our own resident run board prep, not just the one sponsored by CTACS, the New England area. So we're looking to do even more like the 3rd years and the 4th years, having just like general topic discussions every few months. And with the application of Zoom and WebEx, that's totally doable. So we're looking to create one of those sort of a system that statewide, 6 program wide practice Zoom sessions for oral boards.
It's true. I think that that's the one thing we've also noticed with Zoom is that we can reach a lot more people, like even just our like grand rounds in our kind of weekly conferences. We have a lot more participation just because more people can log in easily.
And that's exactly what happened this year with the ABSITE review. We never, ever expected that many people to sign up, especially not international. So we were like blown away. And it's totally true. We can reach a lot more people, which is great.
Are there any specific areas that you want to expand upon for future events?
I think what we have right now is really great. I don't know. I think it needs to be like teed up a little bit. There are like some stuff we want to work on, but we want to make this sure that it's always free and always for the residents first. I think there are like some other apps like, review sessions that are like people have to pay for, and that's not how we, the organizers and myself want to, I don't want to leave that. I want it to be all about us. It's about us learning. And what was great this year that everyone really loved was the surgical Jeopardy. We're all type A person. So at lunchtime,
Yeah.
we had used the RAS-ACS Jeopardy and people went crazy. So I have to say my program did win, but Miami was second. So next year, we're definitely going to have incorporation of more questions and more prizes because that's always, people love prizes.
Do you have any other thoughts on your chapter's competitions that you would like to share?
We have a surgical skills competition that we host every year at CTACS, which is ultra competitive. And I know that some other programs in the country also do that, but that is our biggest competition. And so now with this secondary, surgical Jeopardy incorporated in the ABSITE, other than that, that's only all we have for competition. But we have a lot of other things, not necessarily like academic based. We're starting a inter-residency kickball. So the 6 teams will all play each other, and then there'll be a final game. I know that that's not academic, but I'm sure you guys can attest, there has been such a lack of self-care and wellness. And sometimes you need to kick the ball and hang out with residents that are not from your program. And that's what, being a small state, we have the ability to do this. And I think it's really a beautiful thing to just get everybody together, and our attendings too, because they're like, well, we want to come.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
it's a cool thing. It's going to start this spring. And yeah, so we actually just had elections last night for my position to be taken over. So the new young guys are really excited to take over and carry the torch.
No,
So to
that's
speak.
awesome. I do have one follow-up question that I forgot to ask a little earlier. So for the structure of kind of like your dedicated kind of like app site, like the review for the
Mhm.
day, I know
Yeah.
you talked about surgical Jeopardy. How is that kind of schedule structured?
Sure. Yeah. So it was 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. It started at 9 a.m. and every hour is a different lecture. So in the morning we had, pediatrics, trauma and critical care, HPB, surgeonc. We actually had 2 days of trauma and critical care because it's such a beast topic. It's the best topic, I think, personally. But it is. So we had trauma on Saturday and critical care on Sunday. We had pediatrics, and so the biggest feedback we actually got was doing more of a surgical potpourri, bringing in urology, transplant, gyno or OBGYN, perioperative management. So that next year we're going to have more shorter, high yield topic lectures. But in general, it's a lecture setting, and the attending had, if they want to do more of a lecture style, we actually encourage more of a clinical scenario absent questions, and that was the big hit this year, was going through questions, not only just the correct answer, but the why the answers were not correct, the other ones. So that the residents loved. We had great feedback. We used Google Drive as our source of having all the information available to the residents. I used my own actually. So I created this Google Drive, had all the lectures there. I recorded all of them so that if residents were on call, they could go back and watch, which was really helpful. I actually went back myself and watched a few because I was, doing so many things. But I think it was actually pretty well run for being such last minute sort of, COVID, no, not COVID. And I think we'll never probably go back because the virtual really was able to, I mean, we had so many residents and it was honestly great. We actually took a selfie at the end naturally. And it's a really cool picture that just shows that there's not really like a central base for residents to meet and just see each other. And it was cool to see that experience.
It sounds like a great experience. I think that
Yeah.
That's definitely, I think that other chapters or like even like regional chapters can like kind of enact because that would be awesome.
Yeah, our goal is to like honestly make this like a national ABSITE review. I think it started with us, but I don't think it needs to end just it doesn't have to just be CTACS. I think there should be like or a sponsored RAS-ACS ABSITE review because these are our future or we're the future of surgery, right? So we should be encouraging good ABSITE scores. And I can tell you from experience, good ABSITE scores definitely help in fellowship for sure.
That's all the questions I have. Is there anything else you want to add?
I'm more than happy to help in any way or shape or form. I plan to be involved in the North Carolina chapter. So yeah, it's exciting stuff.